Hello, hello, hello. Hello, and welcome once again to the Dr. Zeero Xiron Free Magic Secret Show. I'm pretending to talk on a phone because I'm in a coffee shop, so I'm just pretending to talk to you. Here we talk about the book I wrote called Apex Unhinged. You can Google it. Talk about the cool music that I wrote using Apex Unhinged. I'm sorry, using Suno. We talk about all the weed I smoke in the morning really fast because there's a lot of that. We talk about the tarot, and I wanted to talk about the tarot real quick because here's the thing. A little bit of my, in a brief nutshell, my tarot journey, because I think a lot of people will understand what I'm saying. So the thing was, the first time I came across the tarot cards, I was a little kid, and I was completely puzzled by them. I had no instruction. I didn't know what they were. I just kind of found them, my mother's old pack, and then I rifled through them, and I was like, what is this? And I was totally mesmerized. And then she saw I was looking at them, and she got freaked out and took them away real fast and didn't explain what they were. She just wanted to get them out of there. And then I completely forgot about it. It was in the back of my head, I guess, but it was just something I didn't get back around to. And then, you become a teenager, and then you got half a brain about anything. You're interested in any of this witchy stuff. So, various people started using tarot cards again and became fluent. But I always liked the idea of them. But no one could ever tell me what they meant or why they meant what they did. And anytime it was always like people were consulting a manual that came with the cards that are like, this picture means this because of this, so this is your fortune. So it was cheesy to me. I thought the imagery was cool, I liked the idea, but I was like, where's the blueprint? Where's the foundation? Where's the meat? I didn't understand what the point was. So, it was always on the back burner, always in my mind, but, whatever. And then started dabbling in them again about 2016. And this is, I don't know what started me, my interest in them again. But the long story short is through a bizarre set of circumstances, I began studying all kinds of magic, occult, witchcraft, paganism, left-hand path, Solomonic magic, everything that was out there I started studying. And then, lo and behold, I run into this thing called the Tree of Life. And, there are flashcards for this. And then it dawned on me that, at some point when I was, a teenager, there was this one girl who was like, oh, well, it's like a Jewish thing or whatever. And they brought up the Tree of Life. But it was, as far as I knew, it was like a Jewish thing. And then I searched my memories and I started thinking, I'd seen the Golden Dawn book around. I picked it up. I rifled through it. But it looked like indecipherable, Jewish god magic stuff. So I'm like, I don't get it. This doesn't appeal to me, obviously, because you're like a witchy teenager avoiding Abrahamic faith. Why are you going to piss around with this stuff? I didn't understand why. Well, jump to now, of course, and I am who I am. And one of the little tricks that I learned, one of the things that people are not really, I never see anybody doing on any of these channels on YouTube. I never see anybody talking about it. But the thing that's I started studying tarot, which led to me studying the Tree of Life, which led to me studying all kinds of other things. And then which leads me, of course, to becoming obsessed with tarot cards, using them, blah, 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 trying to communicate. When I do someone's tarot, I try to communicate someone's coordinates on the Tree of Life and explain what the map means in relation to them. Generally, in a nutshell, that's how I go about it. But the thing is that I realized in the end, I'm studying the Hebrew language. And it's odd. It's the last thing I ever expected to be doing at my age, or that's where my life would lead. But that's what's happened. So the one interesting feature. So the 22 trumps, of course, are the 22 Hebrew letters. And in a sense, you like the Vikings had their runes, right? We think of that, we're accustomed to that. It's a sigil with a whole vast magical technique attached to it, with all kinds of mythology attached to it, and it isn't really clear to us what all of it really means, because you have to be a Viking from that world to really understand what's going on there. Otherwise, it's vague. This is why the runes are like child's play. Ultimately, they're fun, they're cool. I like the idea of them, but we can't really get that much legitimate use out of it. You can pretend that it's more than it is, which a lot of these pagan dudes do, and not talking smack on anyone, but they are nothing compared to the Hebrew letters. Because here's the deal: it's probably nothing new to most of you, but each Hebrew letter has got a sound to it. It's got a way to draw it. It's a sigil. There are 22 sigils, and there are 22 sigils that allegedly create the universe. How quote unquote God created the universe to these 22 numbers, these 22 letters representing these 22 numbers. Because again, 22 is the master builder number. 11, 22, and 33. And when you put all the paths and the Sephirot and Dayat right there, bam, in the middle, you get 33. If you want to count Dayat, but that's from the Zohar. The Zohar is like fan fiction as far as I'm concerned. However, it helps. It's a cool asterisk. It's an important one. So what I'm getting at is that, each Hebrew letter, it's got, it's like a sigil. It has a sound. It has a number attached to it. And it also has a crazy magical, mystical meaning and magical techniques, all this shit, all compacted into it. And it has a code word essentially for it. And whatever the code word for it is what the hieroglyph for it is going to be. So basically, imagine if it had each Hebrew letter had a code name, and then it had an emoji for the code name that would make instant sense to us if we took that emoji and then expanded it. So I guess this isn't the point in time to explain what all 22 are, because I'll lose you. But the larger thing is that when you put these letters in succession with each other to spell words, obviously we know that there's the gematria of number magic, where you see the little rabbis, they're like adding up all the numbers, and then it's they're correlating different corresponding words with each other, and a lot of it's happenstance, and it's built up like this extreme significance, because eventually shit's going to add up to reflect each other. So I don't, it's interesting that certain things correlate, but ultimately it's like there's only so many ways you can spell things or make things up. But the larger, more important thing that I learned out of it is that, okay, so the same deal with the tarot trumps. Now, if you have, say, you draw the Hanged Man and the Magician. The Hanged Man is first, the Magician is next. This gives you a definitive answer to the ensemble gives a specific answer, or what seems to be. Now, if you put the other card in front of the card that initially had preceded it, so I'm sorry, I can't remember what I said, but I think if you put whatever, if you put the Magician in front of the Hanged Man, I think that's what I said. Don't quote me. If you just switcheroo, it gives a whole nother meaning. In the same way that, say, if you lay down 5 or 6 trumps in a row, they give a definitive story, right? And the more information you can glean off it by like just putting them in the thing. So the whole point is that the Hebrew language is like tarot speak. Once you become accustomed to the Hebrew letters as the trumps. So, for instance, Malkut, right? It's the lowest Sephirot on the tree of life. We spell that in English Malkuth, Malkut. It means the kingdom. Okay, those are the Roman letters. So corresponding to the Hebrew, it's the way that it would be written out is actually capital M, capital A, capital K, capital V, and then capital T, and then H, which are really M, MLK, V, and T, which are actually the tarot sequence that creates the Hanged Man, Justice, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hierophant, and the World. And this sequence of the tarot keys gives a clear indication to the doctrine of what Malkut is all about. So that is just the first example, and understand that correlates with any Hebrew word that exists out there, especially all these like code words in occultism and in magic and stuff. I'm going to give you another one to check out, and I would like for you to just pull out your tarot cards, like separate your trumps and try to like line these out, and then it'll make more sense to you, you know? So la-di-da-dee-dee. Talking about damn, I apologize. Anyway, I'm running off base. I think, okay, so yeah, I can't find exactly what I was looking to say, but any word, as I stated, that's how that works. So again, bust out those obscure manuals, all those obscure magic texts that you wanted to code, and I just gave you the key. So this is yet another way to use tarot. It's a like the little Orphan Annie decoder ring of the secret language of the Jewish folks. So anyway, nice to see you. People look at me funny. I think they figured out what I'm doing, but it looks like I'm talking to someone. So anyway, yeah. See you around. I don't answer my phone very much. I hate answering calls. I'm like Tyler Durden. I never pick up my phone. That's how that works for me. Okay, anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.
This is pagan culture from the underground. Eternal revolution in a wedding gown. Dr. Zeero, better than the best. Megalomaniacal and harder than the rest. Nihilistic manics, apostolic alcoholic. Messianic panics, cataclysmic and prolific. In the age of megaboredom and mediocrity, celebrate relentlessness, scourge to society. Refuses the inspiration, psyop terror my trade. Sabotage and piracy, chaos the mental state. Mesmerizing, festering, intended for the faint of heart. Cultish and athletic, until death us do part. This is witchcraft culture from the underground, an eternal revolution of a ritual mound. Dr. Zeero, better than the best, megalomaniacal and harder than the rest. Like a fiendish tropic virus, spilling bile from all your sores. Razor sharp tongue in cheek, scraping at your magic lore. A wolf in sheep's clothing, the ultimate disgrace. Wrapped up as a gift of God, exploding in your face. This is Zeitgeist from the underground, eternal revolution fighting round after round. Dr. Zeero, better than the best, megalomaniacal and harder than the rest. Refuses pure inspiration, terrorism is my trade. Sabotage and piracy, chaos the mental state. In the age of ultra boredom, rape and mediocrity, celebrate relentlessness, menace to society, megalomaniacal the best and blacker than the rest.